This is TOS Television, your digital first Pan-African news network. I am Rose Audu and this is Africa Now. Sudan's military chief, General Abdel Fattah Al-Burhan, has agreed to speed up the return to a transitional government following talks with the United States and the United Nations. The UN Special Envoy for Sudan, Volker Perthes, said the discussions had yielded the outline of a potential deal to reverse last month's coup, including the reinstatement of the deposed Prime Minister Ndala Hamdok. He, however, remains under house arrest, though 4 of his ministers are being released. The alliance, which led the protests that brought down the former President Omar al-Bashir, has called for 2 days of general strikes in protest against military rule. The United Nations Rights Office has called for an investigation into allegations of genocide in the Tigray conflict. Countering Ethiopia's claims, the allegations had been definitely refuted in the fresh report. A widely awaited report published on Wednesday by the UN's Rights Office and the Ethiopian Human Rights Commission into abuses since the conflict in Ethiopia's Tigray region exploded a year ago painted a bleak picture. It found evidence of serious abuses and violations by all sides in the conflict, pointing to summary executions, torture, forced displacement, and rape, and said there were reasonable grounds to believe that a number of these violations may amount to crimes against humanity and war crimes. And President Adama Barrow of Gambia has declared his candidacy for the December 4 presidential poll, with campaigning in the hotly contested election set to begin next week. Thousands of supporters lined the streets in the capital, Banjul, as Barrow formally submitted his candidacy to the electoral body in the tiny West African nation. The December 4 election will be the first since the departure of former dictator Yahya Jammeh and is viewed as a key test of the country's democratic transition. Malawian parliament on Thursday swore in an albino activist into parliament, making it the first in a country where people with albinism have suffered discrimination and killings. The activist Overstone Kondoe won a by-election last month in central Malawi, a milestone after years of victimization. Speaking with newsmen shortly after his swearing-in, Kondoe said being the first person with albinism elected in this kind of office, there is high expectation, not only in Malawi, but the whole world is looking forward to what I would do. Malawi suffered a wave of assaults against albinos from late 2014. At the height of the attacks in 2016, Kondoe founded the Association of People with Albinism in Malawi to push the government to take action. And Congolese army on Thursday said it killed 4 rebels after the killings of 3 civilians in an attack in a village in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo's Beni territory by rebels from the Ugandan-born Muslim armed group Allied Democratic Forces. The civilians died in the attack, which took place on Wednesday night, while the rebels were killed on Thursday morning. The provinces of North Kivu and Ituri have been under a stage of restriction since 6 May, an exceptional measure to fight against armed groups. Civilian authorities have been replaced by army and police officers. This is your digital first Pan-African news network, TOS Television. You're watching Africa Now. Welcome back. In business, Nigeria's stocks drastically dropped on Thursday as the benchmark index fell to 0.08%, indicating a powerful loss which resulted to the cancellation of gains previously recorded at the session. The pullback means all the 5 sector indices tracked by the bourse, with exception of the insurance index, shared value, with the oil and gas index more pressured than the rest. Market breadth was negative as 25 losers were reported compared to 13 gainers. The all-share index dropped 31.62 basis points to 41,943.83, while market capitalization eased to 20.9 trillion naira. Rescuers searching the rubble of the 21-story building that collapsed while under construction in Lagos have recovered the body of the project's owner, Olufemi Oshibona. Friends confirmed his identity after his remains were uncovered late on Thursday. Oshibona ran 4 score homes, the developer of the luxury apartment block which collapsed without warning on Monday. The full number of those who died is not yet known. The latest update was that over 38 people had died. Witnesses said more than 50 people were on site when the building came down. The Ethiopian government has said it will continue its fight against Tigray rebel forces despite growing international calls for a ceasefire. African nations, the European Union, and the United States have reiterated calls for a truce and talks to end the conflict. U.S. Special Envoy Jeffrey Feltman is visiting Addis Ababa to press for peaceful resolution. The government says it's on the brink of victory, but Tigray forces have been advancing towards the capital and seizing key towns in recent days. Niger Republic has declared 2 days of national mourning from Friday after at least 69 people were killed in an attack by suspected Islamist insurgents. The attack happened in the country's southwest near the border with Mali. Victims included a local mayor and the leader of a self-defense militia, the government said. A search is on the way for survivors. No group has claimed responsibility for the bloodshed, which took place on Tuesday. The assailant fled across the border into Mali, reportedly taking their own dead away with them. And just before we go, South Africa's ruling party, African National Congress, ANC, for the first time in South Africa's democratic history, fell below 50% vote. This is according to results from Monday's local elections, which left the party politically wounded. The official results show the ANC got 46% of the vote, the main opposition Democratic Alliance 22%, the left-wing Economic Freedom Fighters 10%, and the Zulu Ikalfa Freedom Party 6%, the majority Afrikaner Party Freedom Front plus 2%, and the newly minted Action SA also 2%. President Cyril Ramaphosa, while acknowledging that coalition governments will be the order of the day, said if we are to make this a new and better era, we as leaders must put aside our differences. And that is Africa Now. For more updates, do visit our website at www.TOS TVNetwork.com. Follow us and like our social media handles on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And remember to subscribe on YouTube. Do stay with us and enjoy more programs on TOS Television Network. I am Rose Audu, and many thanks for watching.